Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 2 of English 102, which is focused predominantly on learning how to construct arguments effectively. I first just want to thank everybody who posted on the discussion board. Come to find out, we have a really interesting class of people from all sorts of backgrounds. Lots of people who are focused on social work. We also have people who have served and are serving in our armed forces. Thank you for your service, by the way. In addition to people who just come from very diverse backgrounds. Were born in different countries, people even who will be moving to countries like Italy in the near future. And so I'm very excited just about the multitude of perspectives and backgrounds we have of people, because I think that really helps us learn how to argue well and how to have great constructive conversations. There were a few people that are registered for the course that haven't yet written on the discussion board. Typically, if someone misses a discussion board post, I won't give them credit, but given that it is still in the early development the first week, if you're one of those people, just please reply as quickly as possible, and you can still receive credit as long as you do so in the next few days. One of the things I want to mention also is I have read through all of the discussion board posts as well as the written responses to the chapter from everyone who has submitted them. I will be grading those this week. I really enjoyed reading those. I really enjoyed seeing people's different perspectives on the reading. This chapter that you had to read explores argumentation and frames it in an extraordinarily broad way, right? I mean, hence the title of the book is Everything is an Argument. So these writers' premise is essentially that, wow, argumentation can be very broadly defined, right? It can be everything from an intense political discussion on policy to what clothes you wear or what food you eat. For my own intents and purposes, I'm someone that does see argumentation as a pretty broad spectrum of things. I noticed some people in their comments saying, like, yeah, I don't know about the food you eat or clothes you wear. That seems like more of a personal preference. I'm kind of in line with that too, right? But still, I just really appreciated people's thoughts and ideas on the reading itself. So this week, what we are going to do is now transition into looking at argumentation in sort of a logical format. And we're going to be focusing primarily on this theorist who was a philosopher and educator named Stephen Toulmin. Now, Stephen Toulmin was someone who really wanted to develop a specific language so we could dissect arguments and see where their strong points were and where their flaws were. Now, Toulmin does not have a perfect system, but I think it can be quite useful. So this week I'm going to have you do another reading from the same textbook, which is Everything is an Argument, excuse me, and understand exactly how Toulmin broke down arguments, what are the different parts of argumentation, and this is going to lead us in a clear understanding for what your first assignment is going to be, because I'm going to ask you to write an argument using all the main components of Toulmin. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's actually understand where we're at in the syllabus and what is to lie ahead. So we are now in week 2, and essentially what I'm wanting us to do this week is transition into understanding what Toulmin argumentation is, and then also to prepare you for your first writing assignment. Now, your first writing assignment is coming up fairly shortly. If you look at week 4, the homework is going to be to write your final Toulmin argument at midnight, September 13th. However, we haven't covered Toulmin quite yet, so don't get too far ahead of yourself. As long as you pay close attention to this week's reading, and I'm also about to provide some context for Toulmin, you should be in good shape for this writing. Also, this isn't a significantly long writing you will be needing to do. It will be 3 to 5 pages, and I will go over that in a bit. So before you can understand your writing assignment, you are first going to need to understand Toulmin argumentation. So you will need to carefully look at the reading for this week. What I'm going to do this week for your assignment is going to be quite different from what happened last week. This week, you need to carefully read the assigned reading, which I will show you how to access that. And then I am asking you to do a few exercises where you are going to take an argument with reasons and then do your best to provide all of the Toulmin components to it. Once you have done the reading and once you have done this assignment, I think you will have a better grasp of what I am asking you to do for our final assignment. So let me now direct you towards what you should be doing for this week's assignment. I will also, in a little bit, go into the assignment sheet for your Toulmin argument, your final writing, and the process that's going to be involved in that. However, I don't think you're going to be able to get a good grasp upon what this assignment asks for unless you do the reading and unless you do these exercises as well. Okay, so for this week, what you'll need to do is go into Blackboard, go to course content/schedule, and you can go on week 2 right here. You will see that your assignment is to read Everything is an Argument, Chapter 7, which you can find right here. Just click on that and you'll be able to read it. Now, once you have finished doing the reading, I'm going to ask you to fill out a worksheet and submit online. So that worksheet and your ability to submit it are going to be right here, responding to Toulmin exercises. Now, I first should note that it is going to be very difficult to respond to these Toulmin exercises if you haven't read the chapter. In fact, unless you have some background in Toulmin, I think it's very hard for me to imagine you being able to do so. So once you've read the chapter, go to Responding to Toulmin Exercises. You'll click on this. Right here, you will see Toulmin Exercises copy. Click on that. It should download. Wait for here. And what you'll see is I have provided 3 examples of different claims with different reasons supporting them. So the first one is Professor Murphy is an outstanding teacher because she generously spends so much time outside of class counseling students with problems. The next is marijuana should be universally legalized because it would lead to a decrease in crime rates. The third is 18 should not be the legal drinking age because too many 18-year-olds would drink irresponsibly, leading to more violence and driving accidents. So these are 3 exercises that I'm wishing you to evaluate. What I want you to do is take the claim and the reasons and evaluate them. So what you're going to need to do is first write out what the claim and reasons are. You can just fill that out, whatever that is there. Then, if you were to entertain this claim and the reasons behind it, what would be the grounds or evidence that support the reasons? Also, what would the warrant be? Could you provide backing? Could you write out conditions of rebuttal? Also, would you identify any qualifiers that might be useful? Again, this might sound confusing right now, but once you read the text, I think this will be much more clear. You will then do the same thing for the 2 other claims and reasons. Now, during this process, you might find things a little confusing, you might be unsure. As long as I see that you have actually put in effort to try to find all of Toulmin's main components, you will get credit for this. If some things seem a little bit unsure or you're not positive of what you're writing, that's okay as long as you're putting concerted effort into it. So what you will do is you will take this specific Word document and you will do your best to fill out all of these parts. Write them out, save it as a Word document, and then go to Browse My Computer, upload the Word document, and submit it. Now we're going to look at the assignment sheet for your upcoming assignment. Before we do, though, I will say that I don't think you should really delve into the specifics of this assignment and figure out what you might write before you read this chapter, chapter 7. and do the exercises, because if you don't, this assignment sheet is not going to make much sense. So right now, you might even want to pause this video and first read the chapter and do the exercise and come back to this point. But nonetheless, I thought it would be a good idea to sort of go through the assignment sheet so that you can have an idea of how you might prepare. I'm also asking that once you have read the chapter and done the exercises, you offer a discussion board post reflecting on what you might write about for this assignment. So let's look real briefly at the assignment sheet. I'm going to show you where you can access it, and I'll talk a bit about it. Again, I would recommend that you all maybe pause and first do the first part of this week's assignment before you get to this part, or you go ahead and watch what I'm about to say and how I'm going to talk about the assignment sheet, but give yourself some grace if you don't understand some of the specific details. All right, let's take a look at the assignment sheet. So if you go under the same section that we've explored before, course content / schedule, you'll see above week 1, unit 1, Toulmin argumentation assignment sheet. Click on this, should download for you, and it will pull up right here. There we go. So essentially here are the dates for when the peer review is going to be done. I'll give us details on that, and the final paper. Objective. For this essay, you will need to craft an argument effectively utilizing all the major components of Toulmin argumentation: claim, grounds, warrant, backing, concession or rebuttal, and effective use of qualifiers. I go into more detail right here about how you might start to think about what claim you could make. It could be something that seems really essential and important, that could be deeply social or political, or any of a number of things. It could also be a basic argument that people might not find super important, but still could be effectively bolstered with Toulmin argumentation. So that might be worth looking over. There's lots of different ways. This is an assignment that's going to be 3 to 5 pages, not including works cited. MLA citation will be asked to be included in there. This is an essay you could organize all sorts of ways. However, just in case you're worried about, how could I put this together, I've offered some general guidelines, including a specific way that you might organize your paper. So that is essentially the assignment sheet. Don't worry too much about this right now, though. We will go over this in more detail in our next class. So now, once you have read through the assignment sheet, you will need to do a discussion board post, because in this discussion board post, I'm just wanting you to begin to consider what you might write about for this upcoming essay using Toulmin argumentation. So let's look at how you can do that. All right, so once you have done the reading and done your best to complete those exercises, again, filling out those exercises might breed some confusion, but just do your absolute best. But once you have done that and you have taken a look at the assignment sheet, now you will need to do the discussion board post. A reminder, just click on Tools right here. You will go to Discussion Board, and if you look, here is the forum, and I'll go ahead and read this for us. After reading Everything is an Argument, Chapter 7, doing your best to fill out all the major components to Toulmin for the 3 arguments presented in the worksheet, read through the assignment sheet for your upcoming essay, and in the discussion board, describe a claim or claims that you are considering writing about for this upcoming paper. Why do you find this claim interesting and important? Also, what other parts of Toulmin, so that could be reasons, backing, warrants, concessions, or rebuttals, might you include? So again, you will just click on that. You will go to Create Thread, and you can write your response right here. So, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you as well for all the wonderful comments on the discussion board and also the written responses for the chapter from last week. I really enjoyed doing them. Please feel free, if you have any confusion or any questions, to contact me. I wish a great week upon all of you, and see you soon.